Ebanie, welcome to the show. Brilliant to see you again. A few weeks since we've last talked, and how much has changed?
So yeah, a lot has changed. It's been pretty intense. I mean, there's a lot of stuff was going on, and yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, so obviously when we last spoke a few weeks ago, you were saying how much you'd love to come and fight in the UK. You'd love to get in the UK, and that would be, you know, in itself would be enough. And you didn't see anything particularly on the horizon. No. You know, then all of a sudden, boom, here we are, November the 14th. In the Matchroom fight camp, you're fighting for the WBA Bantamweight World Title against Rachel Ball. So you've got the UK fight, you've got the World Title, you've got everything. I mean, just tell us how that came about. When did you find out, and how much of a shock was it to you?
So I've been actually in negotiations for quite a while here in Australia to fight for the WBA title. I was in the rankings. I'm in the rankings. And save a long story short, I fell through. Not on my behalf, but it just fell through. And my manager had contacts with Eddie, and Eddie pretty much said, hey, reached out and was like, hey, would you want to fight Rachel Ball for the WBA title? You know, obviously I'm bantamweight. I always fight bantamweight, and I think Rachel's always said she wanted to come down to bantamweight. She felt pretty comfortable at super. So yeah, and obviously knowing that I suppose I have a big fan base over there, it just kind of made sense. And you know, so I mean, it's probably the best outcome for me. Like you said, I just wanted to fight in the UK. I was just happy to fight in the UK. I wanted to just fight there, you know. So for me to be able to now come over and actually fight for the world title is pretty epic, you know. It's pretty unreal.
There's a few things I'd like to pull apart about this fight, Ebanie. I'd like you to help me with that. I mean, I'm looking at it first of all from a bookie's perspective. Let's look at the stats, and let's look. I mean, you're obviously 4-0. You've 14 professional rounds. You've had 2 stoppages in those 4 fights. You know, Rachel is 6-1. She hasn't had any stoppages, but she's been 8 rounds twice, and she's been 10 rounds once. Now this fight is set over 10 rounds. How do you feel about your longevity over 10? You know, I mean, you've already said you don't think it's going to go 10, but you know you've got to prep for 10. So how are you feeling about going into, you know, it's going to be uncharted territory after 6 for you. You've only been 6 once. So how are you feeling about the distance of the fight?
Well, you train for the fight you're training for. Like, you know, I don't fight. I train for 10 rounds. You know what I mean? There's plenty of fighters out there that you know, like Tyson, or, you know, like Enzo Mack, who, like, you know, their first however many fights were finished in the first couple of rounds. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, you have so many fights finishing them all, like, you know, going past 3 or 4 rounds, you know, and then, you know, you do those long rounds, and it always is a question. 100% it is a question, but I have full confidence in my training. You know, like, I'm sparring around, you know, like, I'm not going to go into what I'm doing with my training, but I'm well confident. I feel like fit as right now. You know, I feel like it would just come down to really on the night how I handle the night of the pressure of the fight. I think, you know, because I think that's that I haven't been in that situation before. Rachel's been there on a big stage and stuff, so I think if anything, you know, that could be something. It could be, you know, but I you know, I'm pretty confident, and I know that this is what I'm kind of born for. I told myself, you know, I know I'm born for this. This is what I want to do. This is what I work so hard towards doing. You know, so I'm pretty sure I embrace it. Like, I embrace every opportunity and everything that comes my way, you know, and smash it.
And if we we've got to give Rachel experience, you know, those 46 pro rounds against your 14 pro rounds across.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
So we'll give her that. But another big factor when you look at this, and when you look at the box rec and you break it down, is you're a bantamweight and you're fighting for the bantamweight world title. I mean, you know, Rachel's been up to feather. She's occasionally dropped to super bantam, but she's never actually. But this will be her first fight at bantamweight. So
yeah, she's done like light. She's even done like lightweight and I think super light. You know, so yeah. I mean, this is my natural weight division. You know, I feel super strong at this weight, like so strong. You know, and I'm feeling extra strong at the moment. Like, I mean, all what I've been doing over COVID and stuff like that, like, yeah, like, I mean, I have absolutely no I don't know, insecurities in towards my conditioning and how that this is my division. You know, I'm confident. I know I've been there. I know how I feel at that weight. And like I said, it's only better now. And I like longer rounds, to be honest. When I'm sparring, I'm only really warming up in the 3th, 4th round now. That's when I start kicking in. And I'm one of those people that, even in the amateurs, like my last round was always the best. Like I'm one of those people that it's the last rounds that are my best rounds, because that's when I'm digging deep, you know, and that's when I really come alive. So I love, like, you know, I'd like to have the ring experience, you know, but at the same time, you know, I like to finish it early. I'm super pumped about this. I think ideally it would have been good to have an 8-rounder or another 6-rounder first, but I'm telling you, like, I probably would have stopped that early too. You know what I mean? Like, just because that distance doesn't mean they're going to go that far, you know. I know what I'm doing in sparring, and I mean, if I can bring that to the fight, then yeah, I mean, she's going to be in trouble.
And how do you see the styles gelling? Because obviously we see you as quite an aggressive fighter. We see that Bob Eve style come in, you know, and like I say, you've got that sort of 50% knockout ratio anyway. So you'll be looking for, and you've already said you'll be looking for that stoppage. You know, Rachel has obviously just come off that big win against Shannon Courtney, which has catapulted maybe into this position. Shannon's quite an aggressive fighter as well. She dealt with it quite well. And Rachel, although we said, like I said, this is not going to be her natural weight, she's quite long, you know. So how do you see the two styles playing out in that fight? Do you think Rachel will keep it long and you'll be trying to get in and aggressive? Do you see a more sort of Ali Fraser style, or how do you see it playing?
I think she would be silly to sit with me and trade. I hope she does. I love that. But I don't think she will. Like, what you know, use that reach, I suppose, you know. But I'm really good at cutting in. Like, I've been spending 9 months, like, what month are we in? This whole COVID, since my last fight, perfecting my coming in, my inside game, and you know, cutting inside, cutting the ring off, because that's the style of my fighting as well. And for me, with someone so tall, especially her height, like, she's extra tall, it's going to be even easier for me to roll under her punches. She's punching down, you know what I mean? Like, I find like it's going to be, she's at a height where, some things you could think that it would be hard, but there's a lot of advantages to it for me as well with my fight style. Because I'm not a kind of boxer. Like, even Shannon, like, she's aggressive, but she likes to go in and out a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really like to do that. And I think it's the problem coming in and out. If you're not really very good at that, that's when you're going to get clipped by someone like Rachel Ball. You know, so.
And can you tell us a bit more about now, going into this fight, this is what you'll need to eliminate us about, and what the contract says and everything else. Now, we're expecting it to be behind closed doors because they're starting to cut down more and more on COVID over here. Obviously, he had that fantastic summer fight camp, you know, in the back garden, the Matchroom Fight Camp, you know, which was a huge success with his last behind closed door venture, and that was running for 4 weekends. Now, it's down as Matchroom Fight Camp. Have you been told where it's going to be, if it's definitely going to be behind closed doors, and have you got to come into quarantine in a bubble before that? I mean, what sort of what have they written down in the contract for you? What do you expect to happen when you come into this camp?
Yeah, I know it's in London, and I know where it is, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. Like, if he hasn't announced it, then it's not really up to me. So,
I presume it's not in his garden. So
yeah, it's not in his garden. I'm going to Philly on Saturday, so I fly out to Philadelphia. So I'll be in America first to finish my camp for 3 weeks over there with my American team, just for the quality sparring and just being able to focus just on the fight. It's really hard here. Even the last 2 weeks, like, it's like literally just running around. Like, it's impossible to avoid things here, and I just want to focus on the fight. So that's what I'll go out to Philly, and then I fly from Philly to the UK 7 days out. And I'm pretty sure everyone has to go into the bubble. Like, whoever's fighting and whoever's involved has to go into the bubble, and not just because I'm coming from the US. So, I think that's going to be all those little things. You know, I think, like, I'm going to have to really be quite strong-minded, or just be able to go with things, because there's still a lot of uncertainties. You know, Rachel lives in the UK. It's a little bit, I think it's going to be, that part of things is going to be much easier. You know, even just me trying to get out of Australia was a headache. Like, I mean, what I've been going through trying to get out of Australia with the exemptions was full on. So it's hard. You know, it's not easy. It's not an easy venture for me to get over there. There's a lot of, you know, even from me coming straight from Australia to the UK, that's a 26, 27 hour flight. I wasn't going to do that a week out of my fight.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going to then fly over there as well for my camp over there when it's I'm unfamiliar. I don't know anyone. Like, I mean, how do I trust over there to do my camp? Like, can I find sparring? Is there anyone's going to take me here and there? So it wasn't really ideal for me to come and do my camp there with the situation. I mean, if it was a better situation, I probably could have figured it out to be in UK, which would have probably been more ideal. But even just going to Philly, is good for me. It's only like 6 hours in a flight. You know, it's a couple hour difference. It's not really that big as it would be if I was coming straight from Australia. So I think it's a much better option. But again, it's still a lot of traveling. So, you know, but I don't make excuses. I'll come in there and I'm going to fight, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Make her pay for it.
One day maybe this could be your camp. This is always at your disposal. I should have said that before.
Yeah, it's shit. I think, you know what, ideally I would have loved to come to the UK as like a trip and sussed out places, sussed out gym, you know, made those networks, met people that I could trust, you know, because the last thing you want to do, like, you know, and it sounds silly to say, but you also don't want to be too skeptic. I'm the foreigner coming to another country, coming to another gym. How do I know what's being said? And, you know, like, it's just such a big fight. I don't want to take those kind of risks. I'd rather be. Do
you know the gym in Philly you're going to? Is that familiar?
Yeah, I do, yeah. That's where I did my last camp for America.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And
so I'll be training out there with Danny Davis. I'll be with him for a couple of weeks, and then my coach will fly from Australia straight to the UK a week out.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can get some updates from there, Ebanie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It'll be crazy there because I'll literally be training and resting, you know, like I don't have anything. I don't have to run around, you know, it'll be awesome. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Yeah. And my manager, Brian, he's unreal. You know, he has a setup at his house for his fighters, and yeah, he's unreal. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And obviously Rachel's been through this bubble and this strange experience once before.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, when I heard her talk, she was saying she felt that she was going to someone else's territory because obviously when she fought Shannon
true.
Shannon was the favourite, you know, so she felt that.
Yeah, so she knows. Yeah. I mean, me and Rachel are good friends. Everyone knows that. We're good mates. So, you know, it's and again, like I'm pretty pumped about being able to share the ring with someone I really do respect, and I think in a way that's on her side, knowing me, because she's the only one that's probably not going to underestimate me. You know what I mean? So, you know, if she didn't know me, she would probably underestimate me like everyone else. So that would be really a bad thing on her part. But I think, you know, I sent her a message before when we realized that it was all signed that, and I just said, hey, like, looks like I'm coming to the UK. You know, I'm going to meet you, send a ring. You know, pumped. You know, it was just funny that we're talking about it in an interview recently, saying if we ever fought each other, blah blah. You know, I just said, you know, best wishes for your camp. You know, I hope it all goes good. I'm looking forward to sharing the ring with you, and may the best girl win. You know.
And Ebanie, I know, I've seen you two chat, and you obviously get on very well. You know, you're both really nice people. You both come across brilliantly. Have you ever actually met her in the flesh?
No, I haven't. I've never been to the UK. So
the first you actually meet this person you get on with well, and you've got a bit of a relationship.
I don't want to knock her out.
Face to face, I suppose it would be the weigh-in. Yeah.
Yeah, the weigh-in. Yeah, true. It'll be the weigh-in. She get to see me in my nice lingerie.
Yeah.
No, yeah, true. You know, I'm pumped for the whole thing. I'm pumped for. I'm excited for the whole thing. I got itchy knuckles, like they're sore as well. I got itchy knuckles. I can't wait to punch someone with them little gloves on and no headgear, man. I'm pumped, you know. So that's everything about this is exciting for me. I love embracing that, the big stage. I'm made for that shit. Like, you know, that's why I'm coming over there. That's why, you know, it's happened so fast for me, because it's my destiny. So I mean, I'm gonna embrace it, and I'm gonna show everyone the Blonde Bomber.
Fantastic.
And that's what I'm excited about.
You got such a following over here as well, you know. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be.
I know, and I'm feeling like that. There's not going to be no crowds and stuff in the situation, but you know, I look forward to bringing the belt back for defense. You know, and then hopefully there'll be some crowds.
Yeah. Well, look, we're hugely looking forward to it, Ebanie, and I hope we can get some updates from the Philly camp.
Yeah, for sure.
From the bubble, you know, I mean, just so we can follow you in through this fight, and you know, I mean, it's great to see you in such a great place. You know, waiting.
Yeah.
Just out there.
Oh, I'm pumped. Yeah, I am really, really excited. And no matter what, it's going to be an exciting fight. Me and Rachel are both tough fighters. You know, both very tough. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be explosive. I mean, you're both predicting knockouts. You know what I mean? Behind those miles, you're both predicting knockouts. So I think it's going to be an explosive fight. It's going to be a great fight for women's boxing, and it's just going to carry on this fantastic run we've had.
Yeah, I think it's been more. I think this fight's been more talk more talk on the boxing than the main event and the other ones, you know. And that's what it's about, you know. That's what we want to do. We want to get the talk. We want to get the eyes in on the boxing and the women's boxing. That's what we want. Exactly. And I'm looking forward to being part of it.
It's so great that we were talking about this. We've been talking about the renaissance in women's boxing, the rise in women's boxing. What a great run we're having in the UK. And I could kind of see you were sitting outside of it thinking, I just want to be part of it. And now you're right in the middle. I mean, it couldn't be a big day. It's meant to be. You work hard and you get it. That's it. Yeah. Well, that's brilliant, Ebanie. Well, look, thanks very much for joining us. And
thanks,
really
John.
See you in the run-up, and I really can't wait for the fight. Thanks ever so much.
I appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks. All right. Hey, guys, watch me in action on November the 14th on Sky Sports, taking on Rachel Ball in your hometown in the UK. I cannot wait to get over there. It's going to be exciting. Make sure you tune in. You won't want to blink.